Thank you for tuning in to Homeschool Homesteaders. Today we're going to build a woodshed, a new project. This particular spot is where I picked to build my woodshed, and I get about 1,900 feet that way. This is the northwest part of my property. The neighbor that way probably has about 80 acres, so I never see him, he never sees me. And as you walk through the woods, you can see that it's a bunch of lowlands, a lot of dead trees, plenty of woods to cut, trees to cut down, and if I had a beautiful woodshed, I will be motivated to clean this patch of woods. Another reason why I picked this particular spot is because this is the farthest I could drive up here. So I could drive up to here, and anywhere else I cannot drive no more. So I'll just have to bring all the wood to this woodshed. So this is a hyperlapse video showing how I removed all of the trees from the designated area where I plan to build my woodshed. Keep in mind it is best to remove the trees with roots to prevent them from sprouting again. This wasn't that difficult because we had a very warm winter and the ground is not that frozen. This is early March in upper central Minnesota. Next, we had to build a retaining wall since the area where I decided to build my woodshed was sitting on a 25 plus degree slope. Plus, there is a pond back there and I don't want my woodshed sitting in some water. The first block or cornerstone is very important that you get it straight and leveled. I had a bunch of retaining wall blocks all scattered throughout my land. Previous homeowner left them, and one man's trash is another homesteader's treasure. You want these blocks perfect, especially the first row. So take your time, level each block, and do the best possible job that you can. So far, everything is free. You're probably wondering, aren't retaining blocks expensive? Well, just like I mentioned, one of the previous homeowners had a bunch of them lying around, and he or she also built some retaining walls that serve no purpose. As you can see from these footages, I had no clue what they were doing, building these walls, but good thing for me, all I had to do, or my kids had to do, is dig them up and carry them over in a wheelbarrow to where my woodshed is being built. Nice free blocks. Recheck the level throughout the process. Once the wall is going up, you can see the slope that my yard has, and you know why I had to do this retaining wall prior to building my woodshed. Once the retaining wall is built, we will go ahead and dig some footings. You can do any foundation that you like. I chose footings because my kids have to learn what footings are. Here is a finished retaining wall made from different blocks. These were free, so I couldn't be choosy. Plus, the bigger ones on the bottom provide extra stability. Now footings should be stuffed with rebar, of course. However, I had this bright idea of stuffing them with mattress springs and some old scrap metal. My videos are for entertainment purposes only. Do not follow my instructions and do not listen to everything YouTubers say. So if you build something and it collapses, I am not at fault. My videos are for entertainment. So use your own judgment and find your own experts and always refer to your local building codes. But I decided to stuff my footings with all sorts of scrap metal, and then I used a bucket to mix some cement. This is Minnesota. We could have 60 degrees one day and 5 inches of snow the next day. You can still pour footings if the weather is above 50 degrees for about 5 to 6 hours. And once the snow somewhat melts, I am back to work when the temps are above 50. I continue digging 16 footings and eventually switched to mixing my cement in a wheelbarrow. Much faster and more convenient. Once the footings were done, it was time to buy some wood. Wood prices were very cheap in 2024 compared to other years, so I splurged a bit. I decided to buy posts, green treated, and most of the shed is green treated. I placed them on the footings, of course, drilled holes where needed, and played around with some other ideas to get them to fit perfect and snug. And no matter how hard I tried, some footings were off a bit, and therefore minor adjustments had to be made to make the bottom beams more leveled. Recheck for level throughout the process. Now, this is a homeschool family, and this project is kind of like a homeschool shop class. My kids helped me with the shed. I tried to minimize their appearance in this video to avoid any issues, but once the camera was off, they did a lot of work. I did not have a blueprint. I just had some general dimensions. And if you had any construction experience, you know that you could always wing it, especially on something like a shed. However, I wanted my shed to have multi-purposes. Number one is to store wood and motivate me to clean up my woods. And when you have a beautiful shed, it helps. Number two, I wanted this to be a homeschool project, have my kids involved so they can learn basic carpentry/building skills. Number three, this shed could be used for storing things like kayaks, canoes, lawn equipment, tools, or maybe some tools that you barely use. It could be a hunting shack. I could sit with a shotgun during hunting season, shoot some deer and turkey, or use it as a gazebo for bird watching. So this has plenty of purposes. This woodshed can store 6 cords of wood. Remember that a cord of wood is 4 feet by 4 feet by 8 feet. Notice that I have a hallway in this shed. If I stuff the hallway of this woodshed with firewood, I could get 10 to 11 cords of firewood inside this shed total. And this woodshed, fully stuffed with firewood, can heat up my home for about 3 years. And many years ago, wood sheds were a common sight on many homesteads and in backyards. And I believe that now in the 21st century, a beautiful built woodshed can still serve its purpose, but now they add some charm to any homestead. So stay tuned to see the final finished product. Since we are using green treated lumber, make sure you use galvanized nails. Now a woodshed has to breathe, so we are using some deck boards which were on sale for the side of the building. And we are definitely leaving space so air can circulate throughout the woodshed. And make sure you take your sweet time so everything can look perfect. These pavers were free because a previous homeowner left them on my property. I stacked them on the floor of my woodshed to keep my firewood off the ground and to give it more of a solid look, kind of give it like a floor. I also had plans for my woodshed to collect rainwater, And having shingles on the roof will make the rainwater oily and grainy. So a metal roof was needed to have clean rainwater. And metal roofs are expensive. This small shed, I spent $1,300 on the metal roof. Shingles are way cheaper, but if you're going to collect rainwater, as I'm planning on doing, metal roofs are the way to go. This is how my completed project looks like, and thank you for watching.